talk about clinical trials, you may come across these terms, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and wonder, what do these terms mean? So phase 1 is the very initial part of studies that really just looks at, is this therapy safe? Before we ever look at, is it effective for MS? And that we obviously want to make sure it's safe. After that step, it goes on to phase 2. These are larger trials where we really look at, does that therapy actually work like in the condition that we're looking at, in this case, MS. After that, it goes on to phase 3, which is even bigger, really looking at the safety, still the efficacy for that. And that's really the step that needs to occur for the therapy to get approved and really come to market. And then after it comes to market, there's still longer studies, and that's what phase 4 is, really looking at the long-term data, side effects, those sorts of things. So moving on, one of the therapies that's the furthest along in trials are these BTK inhibitors. And basically what these are oral medications. Some are once a day or twice a day. And really with these, we have a lot of data from them being used in the oncology world for leukemias and lymphomas. So we have a lot of information on the safety piece of this, obviously at different doses than what's being looked at for MS. But the exciting part of these BTKs or these therapies is that the way it works is more directly targeting the inflammation in MS, more than current therapies that we have. So I drew in this little picture just to kind of help visualize what we're talking about with this. So on the left side is essentially the blood or the periphery of our body. And essentially all our MS therapies that we currently have, this is where they work. Now, the exciting part about BTKs is that on the left side, you can see that's the central nervous system, so the brain or the spinal cord. And what these BTK inhibitors are presumed to do is be able to cross into the central nervous system and target these immune cells that cause the inflammation with MS. So in a way that we don't currently have or aren't able to achieve with our current therapies. So as I mentioned, these are a little bit more selective than what is currently available. They target the immune system in a certain way that maybe potentially not as suppressive as some of our therapies, but still achieving, or the hope is that still achieving quite a significant effect, both in terms of reducing inflammation, preventing relapses, but also potentially reducing disability and progression. So it's currently being looked at in both relapsing MS, but also progressive MS, which is really the excitement if these do turn out to be successful. And these are some of them that are furthest along. We're anticipating to have the data or really know more by the end of this year. So very exciting times to potentially have a whole new type of therapy available. Another type of therapy is the CD40 antibody. And this is an infusion type of therapy. The way this works is essentially it blocks the talking between these immune cells. So rather than suppressing the immune system directly or depleting out certain immune cells, it just blocks that talking. So because of that effect, the theory or potential is that it's not suppressing the immune system, or again, at least not as much as certain other therapies, but still having an effect. And this is also being looked at in both relapsing and progressive forms of MS, starting up in phase 3 trials. So again, getting closer to potential new therapies that may be on the horizon. Then I just threw in just a little brief talk on stem cell transplant. So we always hear about stem cells as a potential therapy for MS. Now, stem cell transplant, it's very intensive, and this is the best way to think about it is like a hard reboot or reset of the immune system, where trying to wipe out the immune system, deplete out all those memory of the immune system, or attacking itself. That way, when it rebuilds itself, that memory is no longer there. And the largest, or one study that's really looking at this more, is a trial over a total of 6 years, really looking at stem cell transplant compared to the best available therapies we currently have on the market. So this is still in the works. I think 2029 is when this is anticipated to end and have the data from that. But again, another piece of research that's really being looked at this. And then finally, the ultimate goal is remyelination therapies. And obviously that's the ultimate goal of can we repair the damage that's been done from MS? Now, a lot of different therapies are being looked at for this. One that's a little bit closer, phase 2, so not quite at that phase 3, closest to coming to market, but potentially is an antihistamine. Now, there's data that we have that an older antihistamine may be helpful to repair myelin, but had a lot of negative side effects with that. So a different antihistamine is currently being studied that can it have that similar effect to repair myelin just without all those negative side effects, in addition to the therapies that we currently have preventing relapses. I think that is all I have for you. Yeah. So obviously still very exciting time with research and this whole entire field, and just having new things being studied, both in terms of preventing new relapses, really achieving what we have as far as preventing anything new from happening, but also looking at can we repair things. So yeah, stay tuned.
The audience, up, coming. Get ready. All right, your question, what's your name? Yep.
My name is Patty, and thank you for this. Thank you, Mindy, for this. And
Thank you for being here.
I have a question about CRISPR technology and MS specifically.
What's your question?
Is there anything in the works using that technology?
That I am not specifically sure. I don't believe so, or nothing that I've come across or read.
That's an answer.
Okay. All right, next question.
Hi, I'm Kira. My questions are about the BTKI and the anti-CD40. Meaning less suppressive, that means it wouldn't be taking the B cells out of your immune system anymore, correct?
Right, so it doesn't deplete those cells out, just essentially turns them off in a sense to where they can't be activated and drive that inflammation.
So would they have any productivity in your body anymore anyways, or would they just be sitting there inactive?
So with BTKs, I believe, there's some data that when they are activated or drive that inflammation, they're the signal or the signature of those is a little bit different than the normal B cells in our system. So a little bit more selective at targeting those bad or negative B cells rather than depleting all of them out. So so that's where some of the potential interest is can they still be working in the immune system in a sense to where not depleting those out with all the untoward side effects of that, but still have its effect.
And with that, I am currently on Ocrevus, which means I don't have my B cells, which I've learned the hard way that my body doesn't know how to produce a temperature anymore when I get a cold or something like that. So would that mean that these new therapies may still be able to have your body mark for other issues like a cold or this, that, and the other that need addressing?
Potentially. I mean,
Phase
that's
three,
where.
phase three, I got it.
Yeah. So I have to see as we get more data, as we get further along in these trials, but yeah, that's definitely one of the hopes or the interest with that
Right.
those whole classes.
And probably the same with like now, if you have some sort of issue happening with your body, your symptoms don't present normally anymore, right? So would that maybe also be something that it's approached where, if you have a UTI, maybe your pee will burn again. TMI, so sorry.
Don't have a specific answer
friend of a
for
friend,
that,
yeah.
but yeah.
Got one more
Interesting,
question over
yeah.
here.
Okay, thank you.
We have a question from the internet world. It says, it's been mentioned that metformin is being used to repair myelin. Is that true? Is there research on this?
So I believe that is being studied. I believe there was one trial looking at that and clemistine, I believe, or a combination of that. But I do know that is being studied. There's another, I believe just a European study looking at statins, actually. So cholesterol lowering medicines is another thing that it is being looked at too.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's one more question.
Hi there, doctor. I had a question about the remyelination therapy. If they do come out with a pill for that, is it going to restore any damaged myelin that may be there from before?
So that's the hope, is that it can restore and repair that damage that is there.
And
Yeah,
you said
so-
that they're working on a new one because the one that they're doing now, the oral pill, you said that had like a lot of side effects.
Yeah, so they're looking at a different type of antihistamine that potentially could still have that effect, but none of the negative side effects from it.
So if there's more questions beyond what is able to ask to the speakers, please just find a piece of paper or we'll hand some paper out and write your question on it and the speaker, and we'll try to get them to answer it prior to you leaving tonight, or it's something we'll post on the website. We appreciate all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you.